majority of people.
Hello, Raleigh. Thank you for joining me. My apologies this time, Raleigh. I've made some very poor life choices this morning, and I'm just running behind schedule. I want to have a tie to honor my very favorite YBY guest, but Dr. Lovelle, thank you for your patience and hanging out while I was running late today.
It is always a pleasure.
Well, Raleigh, every Monday we come to you with our favorite local healthcare provider, Dr. Susan Lovelle. She provides us with a weekly update on the COVID-19 and what's going on. So, without further ado, Dr. Lovelle, please keep us in the loop.
Okay, wonderful. So I think one of the things is that many of us have been concerned about what the curve looks like in various states and across the globe actually. And I just wanted to share a wonderful resource for you to kind of check on your own. And that would be the Johns Hopkins coronavirus website. What they've just added is a new tool where you can literally follow what's been happening over the last 5 days. It's a moving 5 days. And so you can actually look for the last 2 weeks, 4 weeks, however long you want to see, and look at various states and see how they're doing. An interesting thing is that the difference between states varies so much. There are some that are, so for instance, ones that are actually trending downwards will be green. Those that are trending upwards would be more red. And then they have gradations of those colors depending on how that particular state is doing. And you look at the different states and you wonder, well, why is this state trending so far up and this one is trending down? And there are a few things that might be going into that mix.
Um, do you know what North Carolina is, or where I
Yeah, North Carolina is actually in the pinkish going into red stage. So
okay.
over the last week or so, we've actually been back to trending upward.
So, what are some of the reasons why states may just naturally be in a different state of pink, green, red?
hmm So other than the fact that, testing still varies widely
Right.
between various states, one of the things that we're seeing predominantly is that states that are cities that have larger cities where there's a heavier population density,
Right.
these are being affected more. And I think it's really simply because the people are closer together.
Right.
It's not a big rural area. And so, where you can spit out whenever you want. And one of the things we are seeing is that COVID-19 does not spread as much in the outdoors.
Right.
So, yeah, so that's one of the things. The other thing that we might want to look at is the socioeconomic status of the
Mhm.
people who are in these cities. So number one, you may have more who are lower on that scale. The other thing is that there may be more people who have to work,
Right.
who have to go to their jobs in the city, in mentioning the post office and healthcare, various things. And so this may be another reason why these numbers are higher in the larger cities.
So that would explain why the big urban centers like New York are being so hard hit. They're all on top of each other. We're coming out of the winter and into spring, so they didn't have the benefit of the better weather to help out.
hmm
And just going in and out of your apartment requires you to touch things that everyone is.
Exactly. I mean, we don't think about it here in Raleigh so much, but in New York, city buildings of 20, 30, 40
Right.
floors, with multiple apartments on one floor is the norm.
Right.
So just so many more people that are in a closed space.
So that could even explain Raleigh versus Charlotte within our own state.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so we've seen these trends. This John Hopkins is just online, so we can just plug away.
Just right online, and they update it daily, which is a wonderful thing. And so you can just follow
Um,
that. Oh, there it popped up. There it is.
yeah.
Yeah, so it updates daily. The statistics are very, very helpful, and I like the way they put them in graphs so that you can actually look and see, and it's easy to follow trends.
Okay, so we've been talking about trends, and we're looking in that. We've been talking about a 2 week window. Uh, my guess is we're not headed down on our where we have talked so many times. We've been looking for the trend that we feel safe to go out. And do you feel like you're seeing that trend yet?
I am not, especially after just recently looking at North Carolina's trend. And we are, at least at this particular point, we are still trending up. So, at least for myself and my family, we are still taking precautions. If we go to the grocery store, we're still wearing our masks, and we try to be outdoors and social distance at this point.
Well, could the summer bring a false hope of, I see so many people already out there with a devil may care attitude, and that's not mine, but that's theirs.
Mhm.
And then the summer is going to make it feel safer, but really we're still going to be carrying this around with us and passing it off. So when's the other shoe drop?
That's the the $24 million question. When does it drop? Does it happen in the summer? We're seeing some trends going up in some states. Does it continue at that level over the course of the summer, even though it's warmer and people are more outside? Or does it wait until we get back inside? When it's cooler, kids go back to school, or people are back at work. So does it wait until that to have another kick?
Um, I'll let you know as soon as I figure it out. Uh,
Thank you.
um, on another note, though, we talk about tracking the testing, but the real concern is that the healthcare system gets overrun. Where
Oh, absolutely.
there's too many patients of this for beds, which not only the COVID patients, but everyone has a problem who has
Mhm.
a medical emergency. So is someone tracking the bed vacancy? I don't even know what that would be.
Well, every hospital does that. They keep a really tight rein on knowing how many beds they have, how many beds they expect to open up in the norm. But for instance, in New York, this is what happened. The New York hospitals are often overcrowded to begin with,
Right.
and then when you add COVID-19 on top of it, it just blew them out of the water. I have to say though that I've been reading about smaller towns that are having the same thing. So even though it's a smaller town, the hospital is smaller, and so when they are hit by the same thing, the same overwhelming of the system tends to happen.
Do you have any idea how the health of our system at this point, just either locally or nationally, is that something we could track at
As
home?
far as how we're managing,
Yeah,
um,
I mean, are we overrun? Are we out of hospital beds yet?
yeah, yeah. So in the states where we're trending down, so for instance, New York is definitely on a downward trend, and so that's a wonderful thing. What we're seeing is that the numbers there and the hospitals there are getting back to being more of a normal thing. It's not the case in those where it's still trending upward. So it will vary from state to state, and that's one of the reasons I like that. The Johns Hopkins depiction, because you look at it and you can just see how varied the response is, and what's happening in each of these states.
Good stuff. I think you had a second item you wanted to bring up
Did I
today.
did. And well, I guess we can call this a real public service announcement kind of thing. But one of the things that pediatricians in particular are seeing is that children are starting to gain weight,
Mm.
10, 20, 30 pounds, not being in school, not being outside, just sitting in front of a computer all day long. And so the kids who maybe started out a little heavier are definitely now obese. And those who weren't are now starting to develop, pot bellies and love handles and things of that sort. And it's really all about just not doing what we used to do. And so, if anything, parents, get your kids outside. If they're sitting in front of the TV all day or in front of their computers all day, make them get up, go outside and do something.
Let me tell you, parents, Raleigh, Wake County has a phenomenal greenway system. We have so many parks. We have the ability. So there's ample opportunity for your child to get out and play and run and have some fun safely, in that they're both distanced and they're out in the summer sunshine and weather, which has a big safety.
Absolutely.
There's
Yes.
no excuse for that. Uh,
No.
um, well, Dr. Lovelle, thank you again for spending some time with us, and your patience with me today. And I would remind everybody, Raleigh, Dr. Lovelle is right here in your backyard. She would love to help you. She offers a variety of services. She not only has that calming, sincere, and dedicated friendship first kind of mentality, or at least straight talk first, and she's
Oh, yeah.
time. So she's here to help you out. Dr. Lovelle, thanks again. And Raleigh, we'll see you tomorrow right here in your backyard.
Thank you.